Purpose of this press conference is to have the task force on governance make its official report to the mayor. By way of background, the task force was put together last September, and the purpose of the task force was to evaluate the 40 or so boards and commissions that operate within the city of Stamford, and to evaluate them in several categories. The task force was charged with evaluating all of the boards and commissions within the city of Stamford and make recommendations specifically whether or not boards and commissions should be maintained. And when we talk about maintain, we reference words in the general statutes like shall, and there's no question about that. Once that becomes apparent, we understand that by statute those commissions must remain. And they were also very active in looking at those boards and commissions that were used in the best interest of the public. The third category was to evaluate the day-to-day operations and the responsibility for the existing facilities and how they all shook out. So under the maintenance category, the task force evaluated each of the boards for that purpose. They also looked at disbanding, whether or not there are boards and commissions that are either have served their purpose or should be modified in some way or disbanded. And then the last category was whether or not there are boards and commissions that could be merged for the sake of expedience and efficiency. Now, I'd like to introduce the members of the task force. I believe most are here today, some are not. They are William Arnone, Dan Benjamin, Jack Conlon, Sandy Goldstein, John Malazzi, Brian Rosenborough, he's not here. Okay, and Laura Obashan.
Gail.
Sorry, Gail. Gail Oken and Laura Obashan ex officio. There was a point that I need to clarify, and I apologize for the confusion. It was reported today that this board was asked to, this task force was asked to look into how appointments were made, and that is not the case. They were looking at specifically the nature, function, and operation of specific boards, and not how members are appointed to them.
There were 40 boards, commissions, and committees. When first evaluating them, we looked through the state statute, and if it said shall, then those were taken off the table right away. And I mean, examples of that would be your zoning boards, your planning boards, and those types, because those are boards and commissions that need to exist within the city, and by state statute, you need to have those things. So we were able to take them off of the list right away. I mean, we first reviewed how they were created. We felt that was the most critical thing. Then we had to look to say, are people presently serving on it, and what actually are they doing now? Are they doing what they originally created for? Is one of the things that we looked at. We looked at how active they were. Were they meeting on a regular basis? Are they keeping minutes of their meeting? Are they posting notices for their meetings? Then what we did is the committee would drill down, meeting with the commission members, the board members, the committee members, or in the case that there was staff, it was more efficient to meet with the staff people because they were the ones that were really running the operation. So we met with them, spoke with them, the committee members did, and then they came back and made a specific recommendation on it.
How soon do you anticipate sending down the task force recommendations to the Board of Reps? Is that something we're going to be receiving this year or next year or whatever?
I believe you'll be receiving it shortly. Depending, and I'm not saying that I'm going to do this because I know how hard this task force has worked, but I am going to give it full consideration before I pass that on to the Board of Reps.
So you don't know right now?
Probably no.
Okay.
It'll be this year.
Okay.
It'll be this year.